Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. I'll react if I had to. Put some things in the past too, and don't let them distract you, but react if you have to. Yeah. React if you have to. Yeah.
Don't know the time, yeah. Just know that I'm, one of a kind, yeah. What's on your mind, yeah. We're hard to find, yeah. Beautiful mind, yeah. Still in my prime, yeah. Just know that I'm here.
What's up, guys? Panos Anonymous, episode 25.
We're here
With, featuring Jeff the Liberal Allen.
That's right.
And Chris the Asshole Pondo. I've been called worse.
Either way, we could both be assholes.
Yeah, that's true. Anybody, I bet everybody really can.
Oh, yeah.
So, Jeff, I just, hi, happy Saturday. It's Saturday morning, and
That's
I
right.
see you're at the gathering in Maplewood.
Yep, I'm here. Getting ready for tomorrow.
Working on a Saturday. God bless you. Jeff, it's Facebook official. Can it be
That's
podcast
right.
official?
Yeah, it's podcast official. We are, my wife and I are expecting. We're going to have a kid.
He knocked her up.
Our first kid.
Jeff lost his virginity.
We've been married for 10 years next week.
You guys are great, man. Congratulations.
Thanks.
I have been stoked about this, and I'm going to tell you, I'm not good at secrets, so I'm glad you told everybody, and I didn't know. They say, I've told this before in the podcast. I get this from my old man, like those are the secrets that you got to pond off. But when it comes to like recovery shit, I'm a locked steel trap,
Right.
a bank vault. But like when it comes to like family news, man, they called my old man telegraph, telephone, teletommy. My mom used to call him Rona Barrett because I think that was like a famous gossip columnist back in the fucking day.
That's amazing.
So yeah, like you can trust me with the serious shit, but like something like that, I get so fucking excited.
Yeah.
Want to call everybody. So this is great. It's official.
Yep.
Brittany doing well? Is she does she hate you? Is she starving? What's going on with
she's
Brittany?
doing great. She hates me a little more than normal sometimes,
Sure.
but she it's hard for me when she says I want to go get ice cream. Sometimes I need to not get ice cream. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, fuck.
But
yeah, you and me both.
But she's doing really, really well. So yeah, man, we're super pumped. The due date right now, they moved it on us, is Christmas Day.
Nice. Jesus, baby.
So
that's Jesus.
I'm hoping that it's not actually on Christmas, because what a terrible birthday.
Yeah. I know a couple. One of my closest friends is a Christmas baby. And she's like, sometimes she gets a little sideways with Jesus that she has to share. Share with. He gets all the fucking spotlight.
Yeah, for real.
So, Aaron, I always remember you on Christmas. You know what's good for us men, Jeff, is that when your wife is pregnant and she hates you, you can always just blame it on her pregnancy emotions, and then you won't have to take any responsibility or accountability. So,
Yes, that's right, for sure.
right. And I'm sure the women like there's any girls listening to this podcast, but if there were, would just love to hear me fucking mansplain shit.
Oh yeah. Well, we'll see how it goes after she has the kid, and when she still hates me.
Yeah. Then you might have to start looking in the mirror.
Yeah, exactly.
You have, I guess, so of Christmas, you have 6-7 months of it's not your fault.
That's right. Yeah. I heard they get normal again like halfway through and then get crazy again.
Okay, good. Yeah, that's Jeff
probably
Allen,
wrong.
the Jeff the Liberal that said that. In case there are any women that are listening.
Real open-minded guy over here.
Right. You're right. Well, congratulations, man. That's
Thank you.
That's pretty awesome shit. And couldn't be happier for you guys. How does it feel during the virus shit? Now, I can imagine that you immediately like go into this other realm of worry and caring for now more than just you and Brittany. Like, is that accurate?
Yeah, a little bit. But she's a real strong person, so like I feel super. She just is, so I feel like super secure in it. You know what I mean? So, she's probably more worried about me.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, good, man. We're praying for y'all and excited as fuck for this. So,
thank you.
Give her my best. I saw she posted something about food on Facebook last night. So
That's
I
right.
threw a dancing pregnant gif. And it was pretty appropriate for. I usually am not appropriate on her posts.
Yeah, she's into. We had to make. So she doesn't even like Chinese food, but we had to make Chinese Singapore noodles is what we made, and egg rolls.
Oh.
So
She doesn't like Chinese food?
no, but I guess she likes it
Wow.
homemade. I don't know. She doesn't like the carry-on kind.
Dude, you brought up ice cream. I fucking spent $100, literally after tip, $100 on a Postmate Cold Stone Creamery order last night.
Did you get
I am
some
fucking
ice cream
insane.
cakes?
Actually, no. I
The
got
ice cream cakes what makes it all add up. So I thought
yeah, no. I got the like they have a family size, like it looks like a thing of Breyer's ice cream or Blue Bunny that you buy at the store, and they make it for you. And I got two of those, and then Ashley and Charlie because I wanted. It's cool. Like you can have some, and then, which is so fucking stupid of me and my waistline and my fat assness, that now I have like two. I had like 4 bites because I was stuffed after dinner, and now it's in the freezer waiting for me all weekend. But this is a celebratory weekend.
yeah.
So I'm going to let loose this weekend and next weekend, I think. This weekend, Charlie's getting baptized on Sunday.
Awesome.
And it's such a different world, right? And for those that are listening that don't know, like Jeff is at they have a bigger church, I would call it the headquarter church, the mothership in Maplewood, in St. Louis. We go to the church site of the gathering in Clayton, and it's a smaller building, smaller church. We love it, but so that's not where Jeff's sitting, and because it's smaller, it's just restrictions. So it's really not even. And since we're doing church online still through, I think I saw an email from Matt, the lead pastor last night, that probably through middle July at the earliest,
Right.
or at least up until then. So that being said, we're going to watch church Sunday, which has been cool. You guys do a great fucking job on that, man.
Thank you so much.
The music's great. We sit down and it's part of the routine, and we've had to all make new routines through this shit. And for a guy like me, it's it's imperative to have some routine, even to. Like, I'd rather be OCD about my routines than fucking wasted stumbling down fucking Lockwood Avenue. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
yeah.
So it's been great. So we're going to do that Sunday morning, and then all go, like me and Ashley and Charlie, my mom, they have Charlie's great-grandparents. And we're going to meet Evie at the church at 11 and do it. And it is what it is. We obviously wish we could do it because Charlie, to our knowledge, has not been baptized. For those of you that are maybe checking this out or don't know the story, Ashley, my wife, and I are licensed foster parents in the state of Missouri, and Charlie was our first placement actually in April of 2017. And as his case progressed and the reunification efforts with his biological parents didn't come to fruition, as hard as that can be, we adopted him in January of this year, 2020, and he'll be 7 in October. So we're gonna getting him baptized, a natural thing. And then when we found out Evie was leaving the site pastor over in Clayton, she did our wedding, or she like was at our adoption in the courtroom and prayed over the courtroom. The judge was awesome and let her do that, and we wanted her to be a part of it. And she's going to be a guest coming up. I'm excited for that one because Evie and I have a pretty cool relationship. She's my first female pastor, and it's no different to me because I grew up, God-fearing and religious, and in a way that I knew who Jesus was, but practicing, no. I mean, I wasn't going to church on Sundays, and I would just identify as a Catholic because that's just what I knew. I was baptized Catholic, and like I said before, I now refer to myself as a recovering Catholic, but God bless Catholics. It's not my deal anymore. So when I started going to church after I got sober, I just show up, and whoever the fuck's preaching, that's my pastor. And I think it's supposed to work like this. Like, if I got some hard-ass questions, I can ask them and not pay, $80 a fucking hour copay for a therapist. Although they'll send, they pass the basket, but
for sure.
But I've had I don't know. I just kind of something about. I was talking with Ashley about this last night. Something about getting sober and realizing I needed help with things. I can't do it all on my own, and I need God's help. And who better to go to? I mean, I've had been blessed with knowing Miofsky for a long time, but also with Matt Fulmer. I want to have him on too one day. He plugged a gap and still is a dear friend. I love him like a brother, but he's a pastor at the church too. And him and I, he really helped cradle me from early sobriety, and he challenged the fuck out of me on a lot of things, ways I used to think, and I haven't changed completely, but when you sit down and listen to people and respect them, it's amazing how you can you understand people where they're coming from, and they think differently than you about some certain, obviously political shit, social shit, whatever the fuck it is. But yeah, so then when Evie took over the site at Clayton, I had known her from being around the church. I kind of worked we did like a church-wide wiffle ball tournament that I helped organize, and she was leading. So I got to know her then, and she's just incredibly, just one of the smartest human beings I've met, and shows up for her people, and is great, really good friends with Ashley, and is this. Yeah, she's a pastor, but she's also. That's one thing about Miofsky and Fulmer. Like, they're normal people,
right?
That struggle with shit too, and collaboration is awesome, and they're available. So yeah, I'm excited to have her on before she leaves, and she's doing the baptism, and that was real important to Ashley and I, and she's the pastor Charlie's known, that's what it's all about. So we need to get that water on him to make sure he's covered. Just in case, what I mean? So when he goes through his teenage years of hating his parents, hating God, wrecking his fucking car, trying to turn into a fucking stoner, drunk asshole, that we got him stamped, he's good. Right? That's how it works, right?
I think so. I think that's how it works. It's in the Bible somewhere.
So you kind of segueing from that, and I hit on it on how I was talking about listening and how I've learned personally and grown. I think it's safe to say that my story is a story of personal growth, and I'm not patting myself on the back. I know that's unbecoming. I'm the most self-deprecating motherfucker on the planet, okay? And I don't have it all right, ever. That's one thing I said last week when we talked about the hard shit, that the person that you respect and care about, or even the person that you don't that you don't know and you're arguing with and shit, there's probably a good chance that they're not 100% wrong 100% of the time, right?
Right.
So I can tell you that I don't have it all figured out 100% of the time. That's a fact of life, and I err and I fuck up, And I've surrounded myself with a good group of people that can call me on it, that I won't shut down and blow steam in my house by motherfucking them up and down the wall. Those three pastors are on that pond off committee, if you will. And it's helped. There's other people too that aren't aligned with their thinking on certain things. Nobody is 100% together on that shit, on anything. And you can plug in anything here. I'm not just talking about the fucking race war or the virus or the Trump versus Biden shit or the last 4 years or the last 12 years. I'm not you can plug any of that stuff into what I'm talking about, and it all applies. And the point I'm trying to make is that when you sit down and you listen and you have conversations and you come into it realizing that everybody has room to grow, and digging heels in does nothing but, it's just a fucking false starter. It's a non-starter when your heels are dug in. And there's been years of going to a predominantly liberal church and still there's I don't align myself 100% with everything that's said. But what I don't do is hear something I don't like and fucking run and say fuck them and roll. I'm done with them. Fuck them. I hear that so much. And Jeff, you being a part of a church or the church and working for churches probably have a lot more experience in that shit than I do.
Yeah.
Especially the old place you went to.
Yeah.
no names attached.
Yeah, I had to run from that.
Well, but that was a buildup of shit. It wasn't like, if somebody, I guess don't hear what I'm not saying. Like in that case, there was some real philosophical differences that wasn't just you heard something in a pew and said, "Go fuck yourself, I'm leaving." Am I right there? Like there was.
Oh yeah.
From what you've told me, there was conversations and it
for
finally
sure.
you made a decision.
Yeah, I mean, when I left there, I wasn't even on bad terms yet.
Yeah, right.
It was just eventually I couldn't. Unfortunately, there's a bridge burned now, but it just is what it is.
Yeah, and I can understand that, and because that's I don't know. Like I said, I don't have it 100% figured out, and I know the story, but that's your story, and
yeah.
Where I'm going with all this mumbo fucking jumbo is that today I wanted to talk a little bit about my personal growth as a recovering alcoholic, addict, if you will, and what's helped me get to the point I'm at now, which has been, for the most part up and to the right or upward and onward. And overcoming some shit, and it's all for one of the biggest foundational pieces of that is forgiveness. And I have been forgiven by a lot of people, and I don't know if it takes someone to truly be forgiven to understand the power of forgiving. Does that make sense?
It does. Because I also think that one of the hardest things to do is forgive someone. And
it is.
And one of the hardest things, a thing that's even harder than that, is to ask for forgiveness.
That's a very good point. And where the rubber meets the road on this being like a wellness and recovery podcast, if we label it and categorize it, I mean it's a fucking step at AA and NA is making amends and forgiving, and asking for forgiveness, and because I'll tell you, when you're living a life of addiction and a life of alcoholism, you fucking accost people because you will run over your grandmother in order to achieve the high.
Right.
You will. I took my hat off and scratched my head, and it shows how fucking bald I am. just in my defense, I won during COVID. I've been wanting it. You know what that means? Yeah.
One guard.
So, yeah. Unfortunately, I've had to use my my nut shaver with for my head too. So it's that's a little gross. My manscaper.
Manscaper. Does it have the attachment to get your back?
I need that. No, I don't have a hairy back. I don't think. But yeah, that maybe a lot. Never mind. Anyway, so I got to keep my hat on for those that are watching on YouTube or on Facebook.
Yeah,
the four of you. But back to forgiveness. Like, I really hate confrontation, and people are probably maybe surprised about that.
Yeah,
like,
a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know if hate's the right word. I mean, there's a light that goes off, a light that goes on with me. I've just doing a personal inventory that when I get super pissed or protective, and vice versa, when I get protective, flip those, of somebody I care about, especially family, but somebody I care about, it's kind of like the rattlesnake effect. Like, my rattle will go off and I'll fucking strike like a fucking. And so do that, have that personality, drowning in whiskey, shit's gonna fucking go down. And
so you don't really have to worry about Chris Pondoff in a premeditated assault. It'll just be
no.
in the moment.
Dude, it's funny you say that. Like, in high school, I keep saying I fucking hate that. I'm a fucking, not a
It's like
genius,
Valley
but
Girl. I just said like Valley Girl.
I know, God, it fucking drives me nuts. Anyway, in high school, if I was, whenever, when you get in a fight with somebody, they're like, meet me at fucking 3:30 underneath the willow trees.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I'm not mad at 3:30 underneath the willow trees. I'm pissed right now.
Right.
Yeah. You won't get me for murder 1 because that's all premeditated.
Yeah.
And I'm going down for murder 2 or manslaughter or if I get lucky, I can get that shit pled. But it's listen, I'm telling you, I just I struggle with the anxiety that comes with the aftermath of that. So even in, and I've done so much better getting in fucking Facebook wars with people where it's comment after comment and notification after notification. It fucking, it robs your brain and my gut, because my guts, I call the anxiety basket, right? And you know that. You feel it, right?
Yep.
And then you're just thinking about it all fucking day. And I've really learned to cut that out for the most part, because nothing's getting solved on that. But
yeah.
And I've been in, and I bring that up because when you're using, you don't have that filter, especially alcohol in my experience, and it turns into a hours long ordeal where you literally lose time in the day that you won't get back doing something positive or heartfelt or for yourself. Selfishly, you don't get that time back because you've been pissed off in a confrontation, in an argument. And that's what I mean when I say that I hate that shit. I hate confrontation on that level.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Am I making sense here, or am I just fucking
shoot? I'm with you 100% because I feel that, because I hate confrontation too. I can't do it.
Yeah, like, and I'll lose it. Right? I will fucking lose it on somebody that goes after a friend, and I won't vet the situation sometimes, and that gets me into trouble. But I'm not fucking perfect, right? That's what I think that was the disclaimer at the beginning of this thing, and so call me out, everybody. But
the other thing on confrontation for me is like I'm really bad about when I realize I have to do it. I feel like I just come across like a dick. Like I don't have a good, because I think about it too much probably. So I'm like, I just spit it out, and it's not good. You know,
Yeah, and as far as this, I get that, and I know you well enough that you don't want to be a dickhead to people.
No.
It's not what you want to be. You don't enjoy that.
No.
Some people probably do. You're not one of them. One thing I've noticed too, like, fuck, I said it. I'm not. People should be make a drinking game out of it. No, just don't. It's club
Don't
soda.
do that on this
Club
podcast.
soda.
Yeah.
No.
Get yourself
Every time I
some
say it, like-
well-being beer.
Yes, that would be
Yeah.
awesome. Just be bloated on victory wheats. The when I go on my phone and pull up whether it's Instagram or Facebook, I don't spend a whole lot of time on Twitter. Twitter for me is just a comedy show.
Yeah.
In fact, some of my favorite, I almost said it, favorite actors and actresses are predominantly liberal, so they just tear Trump apart, right?
Right.
And one of my favorite actors is that he played Stabler in SVU. Elliot Stabler. His name's Chris Maloney.
Oh
He
yeah,
was
yeah.
So he's
Back when
every
SVU was
time-
good.
Yeah, every time he goes after Trump, and he's pretty witty and funny about it. He also was a psycho sociopath, bisexual murderer in Oz, the prison show on HBO, and his name was Chris Keller. So I'll always be like, "Fuck!" But I do say it. I do go. I'll tweet, "Keller's on fire," or and I'll call him by their and one of this. I'm I'm into my soap operas, right?
Yeah.
As a 36-year-old male, I'm into my soap operas, my stories. There is a girl that got killed off in The Bold and the Beautiful who's now on Days, and her character on Bold and the Beautiful was named Caroline. And I shit you not, her and I tweet back and forth. She's a huge Trump hater. And I tweeted at her one time when she was going off. I said, Caroline's all fired up. And she replied, "Caroline straight don't give a fuck." And we were texting. It makes my fucking day, man. I'm on the clouds. I'm like, this fucking girl just tweeted me.
Yes.
She's hot as. Yeah, I mean, I obviously, not.
Yeah.
I'm shallow when it comes to my favorite actresses. At least. I'm shallow as fuck. But the point is, I pull these social media outlets on, and I feel like nobody in this country is fucking getting laid, man. Nobody. Everybody is so pissed off. Like, just go fuck someone, or you're, and let out this steam, man, because everybody's pissed off. And what I don't see is any fucking forgiveness or listening. And unfortunately, because of this virus, that's the social life for people.
Yeah.
Right? We're not at bars. We're not at bars or restaurants. For the most part, we're starting to dip our toes in. People are. I mean, in the Midwest, at least. Not and that's the social life we have is on social media, and you stick to your bubble and pat each other on the back for agreeing with each other's narratives, but you don't. There's not a whole lot of. There just isn't. Listen, there's a lot of anger, man, and a lot of or a lack thereof, forgiveness and listening. And for me personally, the ability to get from sobriety day number 1 to today is 2067. It's done a lot. I've done a lot of, and I've talked about it too. I've been fucking humbled for day after day. God humbles me, and I've recognized that, and I've grown because of it. And for my MAGA friends, I'm not saying I'm not with you on a lot of shit, okay? For you, Jeff, for my liberal friends, man, I'm listening. You guys don't get it wrong all the time. You can't. It's not possible. And for my friends that are black or brown, I believe you. Like, you guys didn't all corroborate your stories of being accosted, dude, for no reason but your skin color together, and it's not a big fucking conspiracy. And I've contributed indirectly in the past, and it's not okay. And I hope you can forgive me, and I want to do better. I want it better for Charlie and his classmates. I learned so much by the school Charlie went to, and he was just a kid, and it just was an amazing experience. And I'm listening, and I've done some real, like I said last week, the self-reflecting, and boy, was it was hard to do. It was a tough week. I saw a hockey player named Anson Carter, and I don't want to go all the way back to last week and just take the show down that whole road, but Anson Carter, who was a great hockey player, I was a big fan of his. He's an analyst now, and he was actually big. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of the greatest day of my life. Not my wedding anniversary or the adoption day, but when the Blues won the Stanley Cup. We've done that podcast, and I actually reshared it yesterday, and I've gotten a ton of feedback. So but anyway, he's big. He was a big, like, that whole series. He on NBC, great analyst and great hockey player, and he said people are feeling uncomfortable, probably like I have felt last week. Imagine feeling that way for 46 years.
Right.
So it's an everyday thing for, especially what I think, which is probably wrong, but for Anson Carter's being a black athlete, hockey player, in a predominantly white sport, right?
Oh yeah.
And I don't know how shit is in Canada, but I'm sure it's obviously not perfect. And
how many black hockey players are there? I mean, I remember the Blues used to have a goalie that was black back when I went to a few games. But I mean, really,
Jeff. Well, we had Grant Fuhrer. Okay, was a Hall of Famer.
So see, I don't know anything.
I think we did have a backup goalie named Fred Brathwaite was black, but when I was a kid, there was one black hockey player for the Blues, and his name was Tony McKegney, number 10 in the late '80s. And I'm an '83 birthday, but when I started watching hockey players and got obsessed with numbers and names, and Tony McKegney was. But right, there's not many. Jerome McGinley was one of the best. I don't know if he's been out of hockey long enough to be elected. I'd have to look if he's in the Hall of Fame yet or not, but he had a Hall of Fame career. They're just, and it's I don't know. It's just being a minority and then a minority even more in a sport. It was interesting to hear him say that, and it connected, and I listened, and I was like, yeah, that makes some fucking sense, because last week sucked for white straight boy, right?
Yeah.
So the point is in my personal growth, I've done some listening, and the first thing you do is realize you don't have it all right. And I indirectly, I don't have it on a fucking organization chart, but I indirectly have a group of advisors, or a group of people that I go to with shit and get, and 99% of the time, I want to say 100% of the time, but because there hasn't been a time I've been steered the incorrect way. But
right,
I think this group would feel uncomfortable if I put the infallible label on them, right? Because most of them are super into fucking Jesus, and they would tell you that there's only one person that's infallible, and etc. Right?
Right. Yeah.
And with that growth and that listening comes a lot of forgiving too, and you said it right off the bat that it's so hard to forgive, but asking for forgiveness, those two things are really tough fucking deals, and we toss the word around often, like just forgive and forget, or I do forgive but I don't forget, all that shit. You've heard all of them, right?
Yep.
But actually doing it, I mean, because you confront a lot of the hard shit that's in that you filed away somewhere in the back of your stomach that you try not to dig out, and it fucking comes to the surface and you feel the feelings. So it's hard shit, but it's one of the most, and I'm no fucking Bible expert. I love Jesus, go to church, I'm faithful as fuck, but I don't know shit about what's in the book from like everybody goes, hey, read that Roar, read that Brown. Fuck that. Read that Pondoff, okay? Motherfuckers. Listen to that shit.
Yeah.
But God bless those guys and all their biblical scholars and all that shit. But I do know this, that forgiveness is a big fucking thing that's all throughout that fucking book. And like real life forgiveness. Like
Yeah.
the hard shit. The ask is simple. Doing it's hard as fuck.
Yeah, that's right.
And I'm grateful that it's such a big part of recovery, such a big part of staying sober, and because there's no question about it that when you're truly able to forgive someone, it quells out that anger, and anger is nothing but a fucking ankle weight, walking around with 100-pound bricks tied to your fucking pecker, I don't know. And so to be able to forgive, I think is the true antidote to being angry.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
So when I continue to do things you don't like, Jeff, you have to forgive me. That's the rules.
Okay. All right.
And I just won't tell you who I vote for ever again.
That's good. Or maybe that's good. Yeah.
It's too soon, right?
I can't wait to see. Never mind.
Okay.
Looking forward to
Just
November.
say, hey, have a drink. Have a drink of your coffee.
That's good.
Have I have them in my mind. Some people that I humbled myself before and asked and begged for forgiveness, literally, after I sobered up. And there's a couple that come to mind, and my mom and I have a relationship that's like anybody's probably, where I love her to death. I know she loves me. She's been walked this walk with me, beside me after times of accosting her. Accosting her drunk, accusing her of things, and just being at the time, I mean, I would say that I was suffering from some a mental illness and a disease, and she was able to recognize that and stayed the course with me, and here we are today. So that's an easy one, and I know people that listen are probably thinking of that because most people that listen that know my story at least. But there's some other people that I really, when I look back, my behavior was fucking disgusting, and I mean, I fucking punched my best friend's father at Pitcher's Tavern in Belleville.
Oh my God.
Excuse me. It was actually the last straw of a mountain of straws, because then it was the following Tuesday that I checked into rehab. But I was fucking looking for his son, who I thought was, he blocked me on fucking to be able to communicate with him. So I went checking every tavern for him, and I think I've told this story. I busted into Sullivan's and the Big Daddy's and the Pitchers. I didn't go to Big Daddy's. Fridays, Pitchers. I was looking in the fucking kitchen. Like, these cooks are like, who the fuck are you? I was looking underneath in the walk-in refrigerator. Thought he was hiding. Jeff, I was fucking hammered.
Yeah, you must have been, dude.
Wasted. And then I went up I saw his mom and dad, and I went up and knocked the beers off their table from what I've been told, and then I think I I think his dad, who's like a father to me, was trying to calm me down, and I was just pissed off and so fucked up over grief that I like, you know, you guys haven't been there for me either, and just pity partying and threw a punch at him, and I woke up the next morning just sick to my fucking stomach. Somebody I before my father died, when I was drunk and fucking doing a lot of blow, and I'm gonna have this person on actually next month. He's like a little brother to me, and I was so fucked up. Him and I got in a bar fight, and I started fucking screaming and yelling at his fucking sister, who was a, you know, his sister's maybe on that committee. Just a real important, her and I were like, I don't know if, I guess, high school sweethearts thing, maybe. And then dated through a little bit in college, but I moved away. We remained friends for the most part after that. And there were times when, in her and her brother, they had lost their mother to cancer. It was the second time she had cancer, and she was like a second mom, right? And after she passed away, I think it was after she passed away, or she was really sick. I think it was after she passed away. I met, his name's Eric, out for drinks to be there for him, right? And it turned into a fucking bar fight. We over something because I was so fucked up. Like, said it again. That one sticks to me to this day, and both of them have forgiven me, and receiving that forgiveness is. I remember that going into rehab. I remember that after my father died. I remembered it, so I was still conscious of it, and then I to this day remember that forgiveness, which they were hurt by my behavior and hurting already, like, and I threw this shit on top of them. So receiving forgiveness from people, you know the power of it. You live it, and that's part of the humility of asking for forgiveness and then being able to. It's like grace. It's like the whole pay it forward fucking spiel. When you feel it, when you receive it, you get it, and you want other people to experience it. I often equate it to a minute example, but going to a great restaurant, having a great fucking meal, and you want to tell all your friends about it. You guys got to experience this steak. By the way, Olive and Oak, Webster Groves, best burger, best steak, best food in the country. Anyway, that's just a cheap plug.
That's fair. That's fair.
Family restaurant.
Yeah.
But you do. You know what I mean? You guys do it. Anybody does it.
100%.
This is funny. I just thought of this. We used to make fun of fucking like all the food pics and people taking a picture of their meals and putting it on Facebook. I fucking miss those days.
No kidding.
Right?
Man.
Bring it on. I want to see your
happened
steak.
to- yeah.
I want to see your burger. I want to see your pancakes. I want to see your fucking eggplant. I want to see it. Food, that's also in the fucking Bible. Food brings people together. Break
That's right.
motherfucking bread.
Yep.
So that's what I equate it to, and it's a work in progress. I say that often, and I need to remain conscious of that daily and remind myself daily. I do it for gratitude daily, and when I say it's a huge building block in my personal growth. When I talked about earlier about going up into the right since I stopped drinking and stopped partying and all that, and I haven't laid it out because it sounds, I feel it comes off arrogant, or it comes off, hey, look at me, and I hate when people get the wrong idea of what I'm trying to do. but I'm gonna lay it out as we kind of get close to the end here. This episode, I want to lay it out because it's possible for if you're listening and you're fucking at rock bottom and nearing rock bottom. I want to lay it out. I stopped drinking in March of 2014. I turned my life over to God, and by turning my life over to God, people are like, "What the fuck does that mean? How do you just turn it over to God and you start going to church on Sunday and everything turns into magic?" No, it doesn't fucking mean that. Okay. And the church I go to doesn't ask you to fucking prick your finger, lick your blood, stick your finger up your ass, and then shake your dick. Like, you don't have to do all that shit to join this church. It's not a fucking ritual cult.
Right.
Okay. When I say I turn my life over to God, I started fucking listening to the people that knew God and are also normal people. And that's what I found at the church we go to. And I asked, and I didn't sit down with a piece of paper, like I said, create a fucking organizational chart, but I acquired people in my life that I could go to for conversations about things that maybe I'm getting wrong or that will challenge me in a good way, and I did not dig my heels in, and I listened, and everybody should do this. Everybody should have a group of advisors. Who do you go to for advice for big fucking decisions? And I think that's when I say, I got life over to God. I turn my life over to seeking counsel on shit that I don't know. Anybody that would do it for a legal thing, they'll get a fucking lawyer, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I highly advocate if you're struggling mentally or internally, you get a therapist. Right? And not all of them have it right, okay? So that's why there's a fucking committee, right? For lack of better terms, you know. And that's what I mean by turning it over. So I did that out of rehab and started. I humbled myself because there's nothing more humbling for me than going to rehab and wearing these fucking hospital scrubs and told when to eat, you know, when to fucking piss and shit and all that. I mean, it's not as, it's what happened at rehab. You're locked in there, similar to a jail. You can leave. There's a difference, but even if you leave, it's AMA, against medical advice, right? And your insurance says go fuck yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, there's severe consequences at the end of the day if you leave. So it is pretty much you stay until they say that you can go. And that is, nothing's more humbling than that. And then receiving forgiveness from people that you accosted when you were using, or when I was using. So then I started going to this church, and I really dedicated myself to it as I was growing in my recovery and gaining confidence in my recovery. And then I was chasing at first, no fucking way was I even interested in dating anyone, because I had to fix me. So I put that shit on the back burner. And then after about a year into it, they were like, you need to, everybody, I'm talking mom and sister, and, you know, my husband's wife, who's like, you know, a sister of mine, wanted to create me a profile online and all that shit, right, and do all that online dating, and then so I let him for 5 weeks or whatever, and I didn't even communicate with anybody. It was a real shit show. It was just not my deal, A, and B, who, you know, you need to be honest on. You know, so the first thing I was saying, I'm a recovering alcoholic. Who the fuck's gonna pick some guy? Yeah. But after I that shut down, I had now, but I freed myself of a lot of anger by turning my life over to God and that counsel and getting joy out of being Chris Ponduff again in my best friends' lives and watching their kids grow and being a part of their lives and I was just less angry. Well, finally I met Ashley at church. Go fucking figure. And I'm going to tell you, for me, and I'm telling people out there that think that they'll never meet someone, like, you can. It takes, I didn't think I would ever. I thought I was done at times when it came to like meeting a person that I didn't know this even type of love and care and commitment even existed until I met her. And sober, everything looked different. And then things like Charlie being placed with us, and I now have he's my son now. I don't know if he regrets it or not, but the pastor of the church put me up on fucking stage 2 Easters ago to try to talk about this personal growth story and how real it can be and how possible it is especially when you feel it's impossible. And I know it has nothing to do with my personal sobriety and recovery and trying to be better and trying to be a kinder person and trying not to be the angriest fucking prick on the planet, because at times I was that. God gave me a Stanley Cup. And I understand that he didn't give me a Stanley Cup, but something happened, and I love my friend Matt Offenberg forever for, like I said, he gets naming rights to my firstborn. He can have a night or two with Ashley if he wants. I'm just kidding. I hope she didn't hear that. That was wrong, but I'm never buying a car from somebody fucking else in the rest of my life. In the way he got me to Boston and got to experience that, all because he knew how important it was to me and divine. But everything that happened that night was so fucking divine and spiritual. I have a hard time, an impossible time, not looking up to the sky and saying thank you. So you guys can think it's hocus pocus and shit or not. I mean, to me it's not. To me, it's when I say it was divine and a spiritual as fuck moment, and I bring it up again because yesterday was the 1 year. In fact, today is the 1 year of me. And really, because it was an all-nighter. It was my first fucking 2-nighter since I was, pounding my face in piles of white powder. But lines off strippers' asses, and never mind. I'm trying to finish sentimentally here.
Yeah.
But I bring that up because the foundation of it for me was humility and forgiveness. And we've talked about humility, and today we talked a little bit about forgiveness and what it can do and what you guys can do by forgiving someone, and also what the power, the things it does inside your fucking soul, by asking for forgiveness, like Jeff said at the beginning, because we all probably have somebody out there that we would like to forgive us for something we've done.
For sure.
And I bet we all have someone that would appreciate us forgiving them. And it's not in the AA book, or the NA book, or whatever. It's not in that cornerstone of that. It's not a cornerstone of the fucking Christian Bible for no fucking reason. So when people say they turn their life over to God, or when I say I turn my life over to God, that's the shit I take out of that book, and it is love, is hope, is forgiveness, is humility, grace. Those things can be tangible. They're not just something fucking at Hobby Lobby that look good on your wall or above your shitter. It's real. Read about them, study those words, and then tangibly incorporate them in your life. And I'm fucking telling you, you go up and to the right. I promise that. So if there's anybody out there that's listening that, and it's not about calling me out, but if there's something I'm forgetting and that I need, I'm asking for your forgiveness. So
yeah.
And also to kind of finish up, it's definitely there's probably no better time right now than to practice that, because the world fucking needs a whole lot of forgiveness and forgiving. Does that make sense? Just forgiveness, right? What the fuck? But I know it's hard, so I'm praying for everyone that's going through some shit like that, whether it's now or coming or, 10 years ago. We all have dysfunctional families. I think everybody says my family's dysfunctional. We all fucking have dysfunctional families.
Yep.
And with years and years of history. But this last week I've learned about kindness and forgiveness and what I need to do better about it, about both in regards to a family deal. So it's happened to you. It's happening probably, and it's always going to present its case. So give it a shot, and maybe we can stop. The way we're going's not working.
Yeah.
Just look outside your fucking window.
Which is a result of the way it's been. So
why not try something new?
Yeah.
Jeff, congratulations again, man.
Thanks.
And I'm glad we did this. I always have fun doing them with just us. I may have told people last week that we are going to have a guest this week. Scheduling conflict. So Jeff and I on a Saturday, and we'll try to reschedule that guest. We have a couple coming up that I'm excited about. So
Yep.
So keep listening, guys. If you share it, I know that the podcast numbers are down in the U.S. by over 20% because nobody's commuting or nobody's driving to work right now, going to the gyms, doing things where they normally listen to podcasts. So we're just going to keep putting them out there, and then maybe when you get back in the car, you're catching up and listening to this, and I pray that it maybe finds you at the right time when you're struggling with forgiveness. And we're praying for the world, brother, aren't we?
Yeah, that's right.
All right, well, tell Brittany we said hi and congratulations, and I will see you very soon. God bless you, man, and as always, guys, let us pray. Amen.
If you're struggling or know someone that is, please have them check out our podcast and reach out to Chris or me. We want to listen, and we're super eager to help. Pondoff's Anonymous is Chris Pondoff and produced by me, Jeff Allen. Our music is Anti-Hero by McCall and Gentle Waters by Wild Wonder. For more information, visit pondoffsanonymous.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram.